Okay, welcome to the sixth official and last stream of this seminar series. And as before, we will continue where we left off. So if this is the first video you're watching, it is good to note that we will continue from an example that we've been working on since the past 5 streams already. Now, today we'll concentrate on how to give a great ending to a tutorial. That can be a difficult task. Typically, when some board games are just over, there's not a whole lot of outro to tell players that, hey, you've succeeded and you've done well, thank you for playing, blah 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 blah. And we'll do some of that in this stream on how to build a satisfying ending, so to speak. We'll add a couple of more, or actually one more smart object while we're at it. Check how to create music to a tutorial. That's typically done in the very last thing. And I think we were supposed to also finish up the villages info, or the menu loop here, which we'll do in the beginning, and a couple of safety checks that people have actually gone through the tutorial and are ready to quit. So, and as always, a reminder, this is not Escape from Babylon, the official practice project we have available. Rather, this is just an example that I am kind of making up as I go, and the purpose is to highlight as many aspects in the tool as possible, so that when you actually build your practice project, you will have a good sense of information on how to build everything you need. Alright, let us get started. First of all, we didn't quite finish the menu structure here on the last stream, and we were supposed to add the villages reminder, which I will show here.
Keep playing.
This. So let's do that to begin with. So the villages info, the logic is still empty, and what I want the villages button to do is to go to the village info step 2, and then go through step 3 and then exit. So we will do the same thing as we did with the movement. We will set a variable, global variable called jump node. We will set it to a step where we want to go, and afterwards we will change the go to block to go to a variable rather than step, and that way it will not draw a line between them. So let's get started. So we want to go to village info 2. So let's add quickly 2 new commands here. Set variable jump node goes to village info 2, and then we will go to block, and remember to change the value here to variable, and then go to jump node. There we go. Now the connection is there. Now we need to check. We had the menu. We created the menu value, which we used to return to the correct place. Let's see what we set it in this step. So the villages button has menu value 3, and that is needed in the next step. So somebody presses the button here, it sets the menu value as 3, goes to this step, and the logic here understands that if menu value is 3, it will go to the villages step, which is here, and it will throw the players to this step here. What you can do to make the logic a bit more readable is create a drop-in point. I'll show an example here. Let's actually do this step-in point in the villages. We can call this step in villages. This just clarifies a bit that you know that in the tutorial you will see exactly what segment is going to be used. So I'm gonna change this to the step in villages. So now pushing the button here will throw the players to this step, and we'll just connect these, and now the flow will immediately go here. There we go. And then we need a logic block after this one, since we want the flow to exit, so it doesn't start going through the whole segment. We just need it to go through the villages. So we will actually raise these a little bit. They're a bit too close for comfort, but that's why I typically give a lot of breathing space between segments. But in this case they are a bit crowded. No matter. So I think we had a naming convention here. Yeah, it was called logic continue, or return the menu number 2. So we will connect these blocks, and now we will create a logic here. If the menu value that we previously set to 3 when coming through the menu value equals 3, then we will first reset it, then set variable the jump node to the menu structure, the play menu, and then just go to block called, change that to variable jump node. That's it. Or else, if it doesn't equal 3, then go to warlord appears. There. And that's how easy it's done. What you could do is also, to clarify the tutorial a little bit, or the flow, you could create an exit logic block here. So this would only control where the flow goes from this point on. So let's actually, why not do it here? Let's add a logic, just to give as many examples as possible in this tutorial. So this is called logic turn to play menu. So rather, we will now do all the necessary operators here. Set variable to that, set variable as jump node. Now I know this is twice, but I will remove the other ones and go to block and jump node. There we go, and this will just, I can remove these and just have a go to block turn to play menu. Now there's another example on how you can do a segment like this. So when you look at the flow, you will immediately understand that the menu structure drops players to this step. If it's hidden in this, you will not see where it goes. So when you have a logic block like this, you know that the logic comes here, or the flow, and here it exits. You will see that the exit block is here. That's one way to do it. You can do it with less logic blocks, as I showed earlier in this example. But well, let's keep it this way, as it gives a bit more clarity to the flow, especially when you're a first-time creator. Since when you have a menu structure that has like 15 buttons or whatever, and they go all around the tutorial, and they go immediately to a block, it will be difficult to see where exactly your buttons are going. Like if you haven't used the tutorial for a couple of months and then you need to fix something, it's a bit it takes a bit more time to check everything. So we've created finished the menu. Now the continue to the end of game, I think we had it set here. Go to next. Menu value was 4, and this 4 was menu value 4. Continue to the end of game. Now the first thing we will do is we'll have a double check, kind of a confirmation dialogue, that did you actually finish the game or did you click this by accident. So we will call this let's call these end segment 01 confirmation. It doesn't need to show a forward button, as it will have 2 yes and no buttons. Autoplay false. Did a player reach the end, or did the ward catch player? And now we'll have a yes and no buttons here. I wonder if we had the yes and no already somewhere, since I could use a copy paste. Well, they are here, at least. They have an animation set to them, so I don't think I have a better one. So yeah, let's use those. I want to copy 2 objects, which is these buttons. I will click, select them both, copy selected smart objects. And now they are in the clipboard. Let's go here and paste them. Now those buttons will be animated. We'll just remove the animation. Oh wow, they are in the completely wrong place as well. Oh well, they are easy to fix. Let's remove the animations. Put this on the right side, this on the left side. And then we will align them so that they are inside the thick borders. Like that. I think that's actually pretty good. And always remember, I'm right, isometric view. So there is no perspective. Let's move these to their correct place. Save tutorial camera and save. Now there we go. Right, this have the old locations saved. So if you press no, I could take the players immediately back to the play menu, but that can be a bit confusing when it just appears there, so I need to give an explanation, which I will do here. and 0, 2. No end game yet. Show, all play through. 10, 1. Not the perfect text. We can roll with that. So I want to remove this default next step. And now if they press no, the tutorial should go to end 0, 2. Now it gives a little bit of an explanation what happened before going to the play menu. There. Now let's go here and let's create another confirmation box that will ask the players who won the game. Did the players win or did the warlord win? Actually, I might even animate that. I think we had a step here somewhere. I'll mute this side for a while since I'm gonna search for something. I think we had the goal of the game somewhere. I hope we did. Yes, goal of the game. I think. So we'll use that animation and we'll just add the warlord there really quickly. Let's sync the box. We don't need that here. Let's add a warlord here. Here this guy is so massive compared to the meeples. They are a bit hard to fit in the same screen and board. Let's tilt the camera a little bit. So this meeple can go here. And let's see, let's quickly also animate this guy to poke the meeple a little bit. So this will go up, turn a little bit, then turn more, and then start moving towards the meeple and poke. And then let's drop the guy. And if you hear a weird noise behind me, that is just my cat going crazy since it's springtime. And cats do love their springtime. This starts moving. Actually, this guy should start moving immediately. There. Whoop, whoop. Nice. And this should start moving in 4 seconds. I think it can be a bit faster. Okay. Pop, pop. Bunk. That's good. And now let's see when the warlord clips to the red meeple. 4.7. Cool. Then you shall fly away, my boy. Whoop. And then go like that. It's hard to see where he's going. There we go. What did I say? 4.7, I think. And a pretty fast flight for this fellow. Now let's see how it looks. Wonk wonk or bonk. That's good. I do think that the green meeple could travel faster. I will remove there. And now this should happen earlier. Let's see how it looks. I'm happy with that. So let's save and close.
Or the warlord needs to catch a player.
That is weird. No, the audio is just coming from a weird source. I don't know why.
For the game to end, one player needs to reach Susa, or the warlord needs to catch a player.
I don't want any looping actions here. Now one thing is I want the text to look exactly like that, but I want the reader to keep a little pause after Susa. So what I can do, I will add a custom voiceover and add a period there. And it will actually sound a bit better.
For the game to end, one player needs to reach Susa, or the warlord needs to catch a player.
So now it keeps a little breathing space there. I'm going to check actually my audio sources. Should be working. No idea why it's coming from the wrong place. Oh well, we can manage with that. So now let's continue with the who won process. We will remove that dependence, then call this end 03 who won. How to play false, forward should be hidden. Who won the game? I hope we have a button for the warlord and the players already done and ready, so we can use them. And now this should go to the end 03. Who won the game? Nice. Let's see what buttons we have. We have the players, the 2-player symbol. Well, we do have the warlord. We could use a meeple, but I don't like to mix assets with I don't like to mix assets together like that, so there's an asset and a button. So ideally, let's imagine that this would only have the one guy running. This doesn't look good, so I would need to create a new button here to have that, so that they would look the same. So instead, what I will do is I will use this button and I will just explain what they are. If this was a real project, I would use this stone base, which we have available for the content creators, and just add the running guy symbol here with next to the warlord. So, but today, as I haven't already done it, I don't want to spend 2 minutes extra time on Google Slides to create it, as this will work as well very nicely. And the text was who won the game. Yeah. So we will ask Did the warlord win or did the players win? Then we will do a small bouncy bounce change and did the warlord win? I think 1 second is good for that, and paste, and no need to loop.
Did the warlord win or the players?
Cool. Now this has double confirmation just to make sure that the players didn't click by accident, and then it asks who won. Nice. What I actually want to do as well is a bit nicer flow here. As previously, I usually reset the flow to the left side, so I want to do that here as well. And I will just drag this to a new position. This should be, I think here, I call it waypoint 8. I think that's the next in line. This should be here. So this should go to waypoint number 8. Oh no. I think that one. Let's rename it. Rename it quickly. Good. This also makes the tutorial easier to read. It's always good to have the flow going from left to right. There are some instances when you can use the flow when it's flowing from right to left, such as I used here. But typically it's always better to have the flow going from left to right, as it makes it easier to read. Okay, now we will need to create 2 blocks here. The victory celebration things for both players. Oh, well, not both players, but for the players, and sorry, you lost thing if the warlord won. So there we go. And 04 players 1. This should have autoplay. You've reached the city of Susa unharmed. Congratulations. Yay! And luckily enough, we do have the ready-made animation here. We'll just give the little guy a little more bouncy bounce to celebrate the victory. Let's highlight the green guy here. I think we should subtract time once again to make the movement faster. Donk, donk, and then have him jump. Let's have him do a backflip. So up, rotate, X always resets the movement arrow here. That is very useful. Then I hope he doesn't fall on his head. That would be tragic. And then this backflip can be a lot faster as well. We don't want him to do a Matrix style slow motion thing. Oop, that's too fast. And no need to loop. And no camera motion. Screwed up my camera angle. Let's reset that. Save camera angle. Let's see how it looks like.
You've reached the city of Susa unharmed. Congratulations.
Oh! That succeeded on the first try. Great. There could be more outro, but already something like this is better than nothing. You could add you had a tough race and you managed to beat all the like hardships and reach the city of Susa, and you can have a several steps long outro. Even if it's not mentioned in the rulebook, you can come up with cool stuff like that on your own. If you want a good example, check the intros and outros for Assassin's Creed tutorial, which weren't in the rulebook, but we just scripted them and approved them with the publisher just to give more flavor to the start and end of the game. So okay, and then this is called End05. We lost. Oh bugger. Lord caught a player. You lost the game. Good luck next time. Let's have it like that and then create another step that just says that better luck next time. And now we had the Warlord catching a player animation here. And we will use that. There's no need to recreate stuff, cool stuff that we've already used before, which can be reused. Now we don't need the. Let's remove animations for this. Have him a bit closer to the end, and then just have. Let's rotate this a little bit. Readjust. Keep everything we want inside the thick black borders. Always remember to save tutorial camera, and then have the Warlord start movement at 0.5, and this I think it was 0.7. Nope, that is too fast. Let's see when it clips to the meeple at exactly 1. Now that looks weird since the red meeple does clip inside the board, so we need to fix that. Change end. Like that. You didn't see it in the last time since it was hidden behind that. That's something I would normally fix, but I don't think I need to do it here. It still clips a little bit. Let's make sure I raise the guy enough. And actually I want to do a small little thing here. Donk. Let's see if that works. Very quick. think that's too quick. So I want it to topple on its side. I don't like that it clips through the board though. I think that's fine. Let's see how it looks. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. I'm gonna slide this a bit over to this way. And then just duplicate the block, keep the ending here, and have the better luck next time. Afterwards, this. Better luck. And yes, the cat is going crazy once more. Don't mind her. Connect these like that, and then just do a. I'll do just a very slow camera pan, a bit outwards, so there's some movement involved. I wanna hear her say, "Oh bugger."
Oh bugger. The warlord caught a player. You lost the game. Better luck next time.
Good. And then we'll go to the actual ending segment. Let's first fix the buttons. So this is the players one. Go to block players one. Good. And this just go to block warlord. What was it called? And you lost. That's it. And now the next thing we need is actually a new smart object. Let's create that. It's a custom object, so it's created with this SO, and it's called Dized Phone. You might have seen this in a couple of tutorials before. Now Escape from Babylon, Content Creator Seminar. Let's go to Components, Models, and we have the Dized Phone model here. Let's send the texture and the object here. And as before, you will not see the object unless you change the filter to other. This is Dized Phone. Let's select that as the model. Remember that this is the object, the top one, and the bottom one is texture. If you create them the other way around, the editor will crash when you try to open a step. This also has a transparent option, by the way, if you want to create like transparent meeples or any other transparent objects, cubes or whatever. You can use the transparent option as well. We don't have any of them in this example. So there we go. Now we have a Dized Phone. And where do we need it to? Where we will put it, you will see next. This will gather both flows here. Connect and connect, and this shall be called End 7. Dized Rules. Now, as you might know, every tutorial has rules attached to them. There is no project that only has a tutorial. So whenever you do a tutorial, you will always have the rules attached, and it's good to remind players that if they need the rules the next time they play, if they remember most of the game, they should use the rules. Or if there's additional rules to attached, like an alternative game mode, it's good to use the Dized Rules to check that. So I'm gonna use the step here to inform them of that. You could have this way earlier in the tutorial as well, but it's at least give the information in the ending. And if you ever need to check up upon a rule or see the alternative rule, remember, let's call this something as alternative game modes. Remember to check the Dized Rules. Typically I also have a little bit of an arrow that points to the top right corner, which has the Dized Rules button. This one.
And if you ever need to check up.
But when I do that, I usually do that in the beginning of the tutorial, that if during the game you need to check up on a rule, you can use the Dized Rules, and I have a little arrow pointing towards the Dized Rules icon. But right now, as I'm just giving a reminder for people to check the rules afterwards if they ever need them, this is good enough. And this phone should be available to you in the community object library thing that we have on Drive. That's good. Let's make it slower and loop. I think this is too long already, 7 seconds for that subtitle, but let's see. Oops. And I always forget to set the camera angle. There we go. Next development idea, it should ask, you've moved the camera. Do you actually want to exit there without saving?
And if you ever need to check up upon a rule or see the alternative game modes, remember to check the Dized Rules.
And autoplay true, yep, that's good. And then we will have one more segment, which is called Thank You for Playing. You can use your imagination in this. You can have the game box there, or you can have the components going into the game box, or you can have meeples dancing, or whatever you can imagine. Everything is... speaking of meeples dancing, I think we have some dancing meeples here. Yeah. I'm gonna use those. Sync. Oh, wait, did I sync? Nope. Let's try that again. Sync blocks. There we go. And this is called end0n. Let's actually call it just end. And forward button should be hidden. Players should not be available to go anywhere from this block. Autoplay is false. Thank you for playing my game. Yeah. Thank you for playing my game. Let's skip that. That's good. Let's use that. That is it. End of tutorial. And we have dancing meeples here. I wish we had the game box, so we could have the meeples jumping on the game box. Should we? Do we have time? Since we do have, I think, the game box asset somewhere. Nope. Okay, token swallowed. I don't think we have it. Oh well. Let's skip that. But if I had it available, I would put these guys jumping on top of the game box. Right now, we'll just have them jumping here. And they are looping. Nice. So that is the whole tutorial. Or at least the flow of it. So so far we've created today the villages reminder, and we had 2 confirmations on whether the game ended or not, and if it didn't, it went back to the menu, and then how to create a nice ending that gives a kind of a closure on the game and thank people for playing. Reminder of the rules. As mentioned, you could have this earlier in the tutorial, just a arrow poking to the top right corner that check the Dized Rules if you need to see some rule during the game. And then we added one more smart object. There is one important thing missing here, which is the music, and we will do that next. So there are a few options on how to create music. If you want to have the music playing right in the beginning, when you start the tutorial, you can do that 2 ways. The globals have a music variable which you can use, so when the tutorial loads, it immediately starts playing that music until you change it to something else. So that is one way of doing it. Another way is to have in a logic block a variable that will change the variable called, why is the group here? I didn't want that. Go away. So you can set the variable music to whatever you want. Let's see, we were supposed to have, it's not a component, it's not an image, it's not UI. Let's create a new folder called music. Typically we run about 15 to 25 minutes of music during a tutorial. We use the Alibi music library for that you can use as a content creator. We have an access to it, and of those hundreds of thousands of tracks, you can select which you want to use and then use them during the tutorial. Sometimes we build long loops, like 5-6 song long loops that play in the background of kind of the main segment of the game, and then have separate musics that play during the setup and during the scoring, or during like when something happens, a war or similar thing. So you can change the music during the tutorial as well. So you can play around with this, but just a note, if you find a good 2-minute track and you have it playing for 45 minutes, it gets very boring. So try to find several good songs that you can use and change them during the gameplay. I'm gonna show you how you can change it. Let's start with this. So we didn't put the music in the globals menu. Instead, we will have it starting when the player starts the tutorial. It's basically the same in the sense that the tutorial will immediately load. Also remember to change this to other, so then the music will appear. I think it's a few megabytes, so it takes a while to upload with my bandwidth. What am I saying? So it's essentially the same whether you use no audio, of course. Sorry. So we have an audio filter here. Essentially, it's the same whether you use set variable music in the very first step, or if you have it in globals. The effect is the same, but I just did it this way. Now, when you start the tutorial here, it will start playing the music if this is not muted.
Welcome to Escape from Babylon. Tap forward to start.
Ba-da-ba, there we
In
go.
Escape from Babylon.
And now, if I'd like to change, this could be just the setup music or the intro music. And when I want to change it to something else, let's say, rather this waypoint is logic change music, we could have it change during the tutorial when you come out of the setup to something more upbeat or thematic or whatever you want. And if you want to have longer loops, so you don't have that 2-minute segment playing during a long main menu structure, main menu, when players are sitting in main menu, you don't want to have that 2-minute loop playing there all the time. As said, you can combine several tracks. You have to do that manually, unfortunately, but there are very good tools, free audio tools, where you can just put several tracks one after the other and save it as an MP3 and then upload it. Or we can take care of that for you, of course, since it doesn't take many minutes to do, and we've done it several times before. So we can combine 4, 5, 6 different songs, so you'll have a 17-minute main loop for the game of similar themed music. But that's kind of up to you how you want to do it. Try and use tutorials or check tutorials we've released before to get good examples on how we've done the music. And now let's see what we have built. This is the whole tutorial. So it goes from left to right. In the above, it goes through the setup. It sets a few, we can actually go a bit closer. You can still see the whole thing. It sets a couple of variables here that we didn't need to create, which were already created here in the variable window. And then it goes through the main play loop, which is here in the middle, and it rotates as many times as needed as there are players, making sure that players learn everything. And if they don't want to relearn it, we can ask,
play your turn. Remember that you can't have 2 meeples in the same square.
If they need a reminder, we have a recap, otherwise they can just play their turn. Then have a when players go forward, make sure that they've learned the villages. If they didn't, force that information, since they will need it on the second turn anyway. Then go to the main menu structure, have the buttons here that will take players around the tutorial if they need help, have the confirmation that did the game end, and give a satisfactory ending. So that is the whole tutorial. I'm gonna show you 2 more tricks. If you need to kinda take a look on all the subtitles and make sure you didn't do any typos, this list mode gives a list of all your steps and all its functions, whether they autoplay on or off, and you can see everything. It's very convenient to change the subtitles in this window, for example. And a note, when you do changes here, they save automatically. You don't need to click any save. So this is good to note that this exists here. And one more thing, when you are trying your tutorial, you will very quickly run into stuff that you want to fix on the fly. For example, let's go through here. We select 3 players, we go through the setup here. Now the first player has played, yeah, we reached a village. And now we have set already several variables during testing this. Now if I see something that is wrong here in this step, I want to fix where the green meeple is. And just a quick fix while reviewing this tutorial internally, like myself. If I do that, I'd have to close this and it would reset the players count and the round and the turns and everything, and I need to come back to it. Trust me, when you have a 700 step long tutorial and you're reviewing it and you've almost come to the end and you have all the values there, and then you just close it to fix something, it's not handy to re-tap everything and go back to the same place. So what you can do is actually use save button here. Now what this save does, is it saves the current information here as test values. So as you can see, the starting block is now top left corner with the default values as it should be. Now when using test values, it will change all the values and continue where we left off. So when I go fix something, I save them, I fix what I need, and when I continue with the test values, it continues where we left off. And that is extremely handy. Just remember to change back to default values when you want to start from the beginning. So you can use the test values for that purpose. And you can see them in globals. It saved everything here, even the starting step, so it continues where we left off. And I think that is everything I wanted to go through in this seminar series. I hope you got a lot of good information on how you want to build your tutorials, how to create logic, how to create simple and quick and good looking animations. There are a few pointers that are very important, such as have the master step available where everything is set up correctly that you can use and abuse as much as you can. Try to create very good looking animations in the beginning once and then use them, copy them, just change the camera angle a bit so you don't have the same animation in 17 places during the tutorial, but just pan the camera a little, change the animation a bit. Don't do the same work again. Just create it once nicely and then try to use it as many times as you can so that the players won't even see, but you didn't have to do double work. Try to structure your tutorial that is easy to read from left to right and it always resets back to left, and have everything in good segments. When you do jumpers like these jump nodes, or remember to describe them, what they do, where they go, and use these if needed. The drop in or step in, actually I want to call this a drop in. That is what I usually do, drop in steps and exit steps to make it more readable. And the better you have the basics in order, naming steps, having the flow easily readable, the better time you will have when it grows all the time and you need to fix stuff and add stuff in between. If you need to suddenly add 3-4 logic blocks, it's very hard to do here when there's no space. So try to always give enough breathing space to your tutorial. Since we don't run out of space here, so you can use all the space you want to make sure that you can put more stuff in between if there is ever a need. Like that. So I want to thank you for the seminar series. The next stream will probably go through the rules tool. It's much more easier than the tutorial tool, of course. It doesn't create creating a rule set doesn't take many hours, so we can go through everything needed during one stream, and we will do an example project. I think we'll use this seminar project as the basis. Typically the rules are built first because it gives you a better understanding of the rules of the game anyway, so it's good to go through them. And now after the rules are done, you can use, or when the rules text is done, you can use actually the tutorial to create images for your rules. So for example, you could have a rule that states that the goal of the game is to reach the city of Susa, and you could use this visual here to create that. But we will go to that in the next seminar. So I want to thank you for joining me in these 6 seminars and 2 intermediary ones. And this took us about under 8 hours with explanations to create everything, all the assets, put the music, create animations, create the flow, create the logic, create the menu structures, create the game loops. And it took me under a day to create everything here. So the tool is pretty efficient if you know what you're doing, and I hope watching these streams have given you enough information to be on your way and start creating your own stuff. That is it. Thank you for viewing, and I will drop messages in Discord when the next stream is going to happen. So if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Until then, bye bye.